Welcome back, Kingsman, to another NTW3 battle. Hope you guys are all doing well, and I hope you guys are ready for some glorious clashes between the French and the Portuguese, Spanish, I believe maybe some UK mixed in there. So these are the 1809 corps that we are seeing on the battlefield today. We have the Rheinbund versus IZ clan facing off against each other. Guys, this battle is bloody on both sides. There is some amazing kills, some sad, bloody losses on both sides. So buckle up, guys, get comfortable, and let us watch this coordinated fight unfold. Now, we are first right here. We have the 6-point mortar. You will have a 11-point salt. Always scary to see the 11-point salt. You have this 9-pointer. Is this like a... Okay, so you have a 8-point nade and then the 9-pointer. What is this? Is it just regular French army? By now, if you don't know, I'm pretty ignorant on certain parts of the French corps. And, yeah, that's just how it is. Looks like Soult actually split his army in two. I'm kind of interested about that. He has his general here, a couple units, maybe just to keep him safe. He has 2 cavalry scouting hussars and some chasseur cheval, the general horse artillery. The main bulk of his force is rolling down this road. I'm curious if they're going to use Soult as a diversion against this Portuguese army. Now, there's a Portuguese army here, 2 Spanish armies in the front, and then another one, I believe, on the flank. So, man, and this is also a Portuguese 1 map, I believe, is the name of it. Now, we see the 6-pointer. Well, he looks like maybe to be setting up. I'm not sure if he's falling back. He has seen quite a heavy cav presence. May actually have some cavalry trying to get a snipe on some artillery. Or a general, you know, mortars sitting right here. I think they're thinking not today, maybe. Look at this. They're forming up. Getting into positions here. This is actually really good terrain they have if they can control this hill right here. There's the pathway where the Spanish are going to roll down. Now, the cavalry for Spain is very close by. Not going to be very easy for them, but you can see Spain starting to circle a little bit on mortar. We have more cavalry running forward. I think they're just scared about the general and artillery. That is a probably very good artillery piece. And we have them limbering up, so... maybe going to start putting a little pressure on the Spanish cavalry, or if infantry show up. I guess we'll see in a second. But Ney has cavalry pushing over to help. The rest of his army, though, quite far behind at the moment. They got some light infantry. L6 is so fast. L6, and then... wait, where's the drums in this army? This army's like all quiet. It's kind of odd. Ah, there we go. As if by request. Then our LLC has been taken. Man, it's kind of bugging out once in a while. It keeps freezing up. I'm not sure why. Rest of his army still, this 9-point army gonna be rolling up following the 11-pointer. Like I said, guys, 11-pointer is gonna be a bit of a surprise for the Spanish, seeing as Soult is way over here as with the general. I'm very interested to see how that will work out for them. And there we go. We start to see some of the Spanish infantry. So we got some guard units mixed in here. Some grenadiers. So we got at least one army there. I don't know if there's another army over here. I don't think there is. I think the coalition is for the most part going to be in the center here. But, ooh, I have some artillery now firing. So he's going to be trying to push back this cavalry, because, you know, the Spanish are going to be trying to scout, see where the army is, where the Grand Army is in its entirety. It is very actually crucial that they keep a screen up in the center so they don't know where Soult's bulk of his army is. Because if they see a bulk of army, I guess they could assume it was the 9-pointer. But it'd be pretty quickly obvious it's not. Also the same thing here, super crucial to scout and keep the Spanish in the what's the word? To keep them out of the know-how, you know, to keep them away from knowing that this is in fact a ruse. Because there's only a couple of infantry units here, and you can see they are spreading out their cav a lot. That's actually a very good move. I'm curious how well that's going to actually work in the long run. Spain forming up here. In fact, Spain may actually be looking to engage the French here, walking up the hill. And France, it looks like they're going to actually fall back just a little bit. They have a nice flank that'll be protected. Look at this. This is going to be hard to get cavalry through or infantry. So, quite honestly, the only real push the Spanish could make, I mean, they could push along this whole side. Just not going to be super easy for them. This artillery not able to support the defense yet. However, I'm sure that the artillery will be, yep, setting up right over here. They can set up even on the road and like the top of this hill. That's a nice position to then be able to hammer any Spanish advance. You see a little bit of shooting here, these light infantry. You see the Spanish even got some artillery up. And they're going to start firing at this French position. Nice shots on the Spanish Lancers, who are now going to get themselves out of there. They don't want to deal with this. They don't want no smoke. Oh, and then an ambush by some French hussars. Man, they caught them napping. Unfortunately, they caught them out. And the French light cav seems to be doing some amazing work so far. Ney almost here to reinforce this right side. We don't know where exactly the Spanish are going to push. However, if I were to guess, right here would be pretty good guess. Now, the nice thing is this artillery actually seems, you can see, to be defending this French infantry quite well. They're kind of sitting behind the hill, and the artillery shells just kind of flying over. Now, this artillery piece over here, probably going to get a really nice shot off. And they're probably going to start taking out some units, however, still missing a bunch. Nice positioning by the French. I've actually played this map, but the fighting was happening this way. So like one person was pushing from here, the one was pushing from here, and a big old fight for the town. Which that may actually be what this turns into. I guess we'll see. Alright, we're seeing a bit of a shift here for Spain on the right flank. And we have Portugal advancing, so they may actually be massing up a lot of force. If they mass up two armies here to take on Soult, and then Soult just starts running away before, like, you know, with how many units is this? 6? 5? Yeah, it's 5 infantry plus horse artillery and some cav. Man, that would be huge. They can waste the Portuguese time. They can waste all their time, let the real attack keep commencing in the center. We do have artillery making their way up towards the front line, so they're going to get in a nice position. This French infantry line's probably going to be in a bit of hurt pretty soon here, unless they can deal with it. Oh! Nice cav charge. Dealing... Oh, never mind. Okay, they still broke the skirms. But the Spanish lost their cavalry. Yeah, Portugal was going forward with this advance quite seriously. The thing that the only thing I see lacking from this coalition, this Spanish alliance, is I don't think they have a lot of scouting cavalry. At least they're not scouting with it necessarily. They don't really know what they're going up against. I mean, you can see how many units are actually, you know, all these units are shown, but a lot of these are hidden. All of this is still hidden, guys. All of this is hidden. This stuff is not hidden, but the rest of it, like, there's so much hidden French forces still. And the Spanish, I don't think truly know what they're going up against. And Spain's probably still waiting for their reinforcements to push up. Oh, I like the uniforms on this line. A lot of fancy looking Nice looking uniforms here. But yeah, this artillery piece, oh man, beautifully positioned. It's gonna probably... I feel like they do better having canister on this line because the artillery is still hitting the hill. But this battle's starting to get a little bit hotter now. Yikes, now the artillery is in full swing here. And it looks like they're going to fall back from this. So Spanish finally getting some, a little bit of leeway here. Now over on this side, well, they were having a bit of a fight on their hands, but the French have a very good position. They are sticking their light infantry in the forest. They have reserves that can stay way back behind the lines. You can see, I mean, they have a... I like this French build. Forces. Not just their build, but like how they have their reinforcements set up, where they're sticking their reserves. I like it. Even over here, the French can afford to, if they need to, they can fall back to this area right here. And with Ney pushing up on this right flank, I think they're set for maybe a nice swinging flank. Now, they're going to have to account for the fact that Spain does probably have artillery up in these hills. They will be under fire during that attack. Or they'll be on the defensive, who knows. Either way, they're kind of keeping their distance. Still not a full-on engagement here yet, guys. Still wait. Sorry, we're back. I think it just crashed on itself. But, yeah. So we are back right before, hopefully, some big action happens here. Still just a little bit of a skirmishing. Looks like the French actually are shifting some forces in and out. Spain maybe making a bit more of a push. We can't let us not forget that the Portuguese are in the forest. And this small little bait force may be hit by a Portuguese army. You know, you never know. The rest of Soult staying in reserve here, so not playing their cards just yet. I do like that they have the artillery kind of in this position that I was talking about, although it is to the right side of the road, so it's even more perfect. Ney still is pushing forces forward on the right. I'm assuming that's where he's going to be focused. I mean, that'd be pretty obvious, I guess. He has a nice 12 units. Cavalry up in front, so you see a lot of scouting. You even have cavalry way back here on the flank. I believe they're hidden. Yeah, so, I mean, the French just have an advantage when it comes to light cav. He's setting the motion here. Now, they are not going on the offensive. In fact, it looks like they keep falling back just a little bit. They're trying to stay away from that artillery that the Spanish have. And it is still hammering them. Ooh. But if anything, I think they're going to be totally okay with continually falling back. If I heard like a trumpet, like, you know, a cav charge or something. We're starting to see a little bit more French infantry shifting over here just to support this side. Right now, if from the Spanish position, they probably are thinking, oh, good, we have, you know, I guess they wouldn't know which one is Soult, I guess, technically, unless they really know the armies well. I wonder if Soult looks different. Oh, yeah, he does. So I guess they could be like, oh, it's Soult, you know, he's right here, and then, but Soult's actually right here. But yeah, no, we have some forces shifting over to kind of help secure this left side. I don't know if they're going to try to go against this Portuguese army. starting to hear some more regular volleys as Spain starts inching forward just a little bit. The thing that Spain probably wants to do is keep a nice line fight going without getting too close for that melee. Which they seem to be doing well. They're just picking and choosing where they're engaging, not going along the entire side here. More Portuguese pushing forward here, so there's definitely a heavy concentration in this forest. Which is why, like I said, they have reinforcements shifting over here just to protect this flank. The nice lagoon will actually help stop the Portuguese. I mean, they can push across this land bridge, but it'll take a long time. And if they have some forces just to stop them and shoot, plus a little flanking force with the artillery, I would say that is a very successful defense they can make on that side. More artillery shifting over here. Ney has made quite the flank. He's been going straight in front of him, and then he probably could curve right in on the flank. And once again, guys, still hidden. All these troops are hidden. Nobody knows that they are moving along the side. As far as we know, they do not know. And that is maybe a problem. We will see. We will see. Maybe the Spanish can hear the drums, you know? I'm sure they are, you know, trying to account for any potential flanking maneuvers by the French. So we have some Spanish in the trees. Looks like a pretty even fight. I'm expecting to see the Spanish maybe push a little bit more on this side, as it's pretty well protected by from artillery of the French. They can just push through this area. You can see this artillery even doesn't really have a better position to go to unless the French, you know, push forward. The Spanish have to push across this hill in order for this artillery to actually be able to fire at them. Still, so far, I'd say maybe 100 men lost so far, total. Maybe it's gonna start getting past that 100. Maybe it's more than that. I guess there's some more clashes that have happened. Maybe 200 at the most. So a pretty bloodless victory so far, or victory, a bloodless battle so far. Oh, it's like we got some artillery dueling back and forth here. Oh, they're limbering up. He's going to try to focus that down as best he can with that artillery. Let's see if they can get a shot off. If they can take out the Spanish gun placement, that would be huge. Oh! Oh, wait, maybe they were not limbering up. They were unlimbering. Looks like they were unlimbering. Still this light infantry in the thick of the action here. Kind of the only ones. Oh, wow. I'm assuming that was artillery mixed in with that light infantry that's poured in a volley on this Spanish unit and just obliterated them. And Spain may actually be pulling back. I don't think either side. I think the French are going for a very long play. Uh-oh. Got some Spanish cavalry. Oh, they're going to see this. They have to see this. I mean, they have to. I mean, they're smart. They got to know there's something over here. I feel like there'd be madness not to. I would be, if I was here, I'd be really suspecting that there is some kind of push. I would probably wouldn't assume they had gone all the way across here. I'd probably assume there's a French army lined right here, and they were going to push across right into me. This is more of a serious matter. They are so far over here that if the Spanish do commit, or if, like, let's say Mortier may actually be trying to push an engagement with the Spanish, Then we have Ney that's going to swing down. Yeah, it'd be pretty easy to hear the drums. There's no way they can't hear the drums. But it does look like the Spanish are abandoning this left side. I don't think they want to deal with this, especially if they think there may be a flanking force here. And all this stuff is hidden, but any second, I feel like any second now, this stuff is going to be revealed. They're so close. Then again, guys, keep in mind, oh yeah, they're not hidden anymore. But this is not light cav, this is heavy cav. Oh, and they have been discovered, so the trap must spring. And could you imagine the shock? The shock of seeing all of this infantry. They haven't seen the majority of it. But talk about coordination. They saw it. Oh, there's even artillery. Oh my goodness, Spain was not expecting this whatsoever. They are, in a way, probably a little bit screwed here. And these Hussars are being engaged by Spanish heavies, heavies, I believe, and light cav, and they get broken up. Light infantry can maybe get a volley off. You have the cavalry trying to maybe go for that artillery piece. Not going to happen. Instead, this artillery is going to push around, swing around to start dealing with all this French infantry. What a beautiful flank. And yep, it is seen, guys. They know that there is a whole army on the flank. And you can see already Spain shifting over. This is the time when maybe Soult needs to push up and Mortier needs to push up. Really hit them while they're trying to reform. Hit them from all one side. We do have the cavalry going for the artillery piece. Unfortunately for Spain, they were not able to save it. And are they going to push? I feel like they should push. You know, like all swing around this side. Look at the shifting of Spanish forces. They are totally disorganized, guys. They are all moving. I mean, it won't take them very long to reorganize. And I'm sure there's still some Spanish units here. But the majority are definitely shifting over. They have mobilized everything to deal with the beautiful flank attack by Ney. I love it when you have the big-time strategies like that. We'll see how this plays out, though. I mean, the Spanish are probably going to get into a defensive line. You look at how far they have to push, where the Spanish have made it to. The Spanish have a portion of this hill. The good news is they are going to now, Spain is directly in the field range of these 8-pounders. They're going to be able to just start plastering this infantry from up on their hill. And yep, I do believe we see Soult making an advance. I don't think Spain is going to be ready for this. Now, we do see the Portuguese also making an attack, so they are trying to pressure, maybe trying to relieve some pressure on this left side by making the French shift more over to deal with this Portuguese push. But if I were to guess, a lot of the Spanish are over here. Oh, and actually, we may see a counterattack by Spain. Spain has mobilized the best of their forces. Man, they had a nice reserve. And you can see how important it is for those reserves, guys. They shifted it all over. And keep in mind, this is Ney mostly by himself. He does have a very strong army at the moment. With reinforcements hopefully pushing. Gotta see if Mortier's gonna push. Yep, he is. Soult and Mortier. Oh my gosh, yes. Look at this push, guys. Portugal starting to form up in a fight. We have France trying to deal with it, trying to keep it in a bottlenecked position. And actually, Ney's falling back, guys. He is getting hit. Oh my gosh. Yeah, this is a well-coordinated attack that Spain is throwing at them. We've got some heavy dragoons. I believe it's just dragoons actually going in. I think they're going to form a square in time. Still not a very... Still a little bit messy, though. I mean, with all this cav pouring in on the flank, thankfully they have that square. Not going to be an easy fight, and with the cavalry trying to tie down the French, the Spanish are going to start pushing forward a lot of infantry. Let's swing over here really fast to make sure we are not missing any action here. The Portuguese, like, they got hammered yet by some artillery set up in a very defensible position with infantry guarding it, and you can see Portugal actually going to fall back. They lost infantry to that artillery already, and especially if they're going to get outflanked by Soult pushing on their flank, they don't want to get left isolated. So falling back here. Now we do have cavalry pushing in here. Now they do lose their 69th, but the cavalry of Spain, the cav is being lost by Spain. For every small gain they make, they lose a cav unit, and they probably can't afford to lose tons of their cavalry. I don't know how much they actually brought in all. But now the French, they're putting a lot of pressure on multiple sides of this field. Oh, do we have, oh, I thought they were trying to sneak along here and go for this area. Ooh, what's this? Oh, so Portugal has like a light infantry contingent of skirmishers and light infantry pushing across, and Soult is now going to abandon that position. The little ruse is up. He's going to pull back that small little diversionary force that he had, join it up with the main force. Spain looks like they're going to actually try to make some defensive stances here. Not sure if this is not sure if they're trying to do a square check here, but I hope that France is going to try to get some of their squares up to defend this side, because France has the guard over here. Oh, this is not what they want to fight against. I'll make sure I'm not missing anything over here. Ney still kind of regrouping here. If anything, this was a diversion as well on the flank, pulling a lot of Spanish troops in. Looks like we have some cavalry charging in between the lines here. Squares formed because they thought the Dragoons were in charge. Dragoons going to retire, and more French troops going to push forward here. This is a nice offensive line. However, this flank is actually definitely more in jeopardy than any other section of the French line, I'd say. With such good quality cavalry and infantry here, France is probably going to suffer a little bit. They've got to be very cautious, even maybe getting some artillery up. And now that Portugal is abandoned this position and maybe going to push up here, the coalition maybe could try a kind of an attack, puncture through this part of the line here, and then that would then jeopardize a huge portion of this French attack. I will say Spain has reacted beautifully to the maneuvers that the French made, and they seem to have stabilized quite well, actually. I got a lot of forces pushing forward, though. This flank seems to have quieted down just a little bit. Ney kind of reforming here. Not really going on the offensive. Just kind of abiding his time, waiting to see what the Spanish do. The Spanish can't afford to keep all that force over here on the flank. They're going to have to disperse it throughout the rest of this area, especially if Soult is going to try to make some plays here. I mean, yeah, there's a lot of forces still on this far left side. They probably won't even need to keep them all there. And they have a huge battery here. I guess for now, they're going to try to see if they can keep the enemy at bay with just that artillery and use all their infantry here. But it's kind of nice to see more guns up here, although, oh, this is good. This is a very good position for this artillery. It's going to force the Spanish to have to fall back. And we're starting to see a massive reserve being built up in the center. See, they're focusing down the cavalry first. That is probably the most dangerous part of the Spanish army for the French, is the cav, and especially, is this heavy cav? Yeah, this is some heavies. Spanish heavies that will be very deadly if not dealt with before France tries to get into a fight. Which is why Spain's probably going to try to do their best to keep them alive. I can imagine that'll become very challenging with so much French artillery in the field, though. It's just some beautiful plays, guys. You have to appreciate how well coordinated each of these armies, which each of these players are being together. Now we do have some cavalry that did break. France still trying to keep that cavalry advantage. Now we do have the Spanish that took this LOC, are fighting kind of in the forest a little bit. Ney seems to be shifting a little bit more into the forest. He may try to go for, once again, a wider flank. If he can stretch the Spanish line even further out here, it's going to take even more useful forces away from this center. You can see already we have some Spanish infantry that are shifting on the back road here. Now you see the French were potentially going to try to go for a melee. They have their dragoons close by. I'm not sure if that's defensive or offensive cav placement to counter any Spanish cav. But we are seeing a shift in forces. Spain kind of cycling troops in and out, so there's fresh troops here. I feel like there's gonna be a big move here very soon. Just the way the troops keep bunching up here with cavalry shifting over, maybe even a general. If I see a general, I'm definitely gonna assume that they're gonna take some. Yep, 2 generals for those morale boosts for the inspires. The Portuguese. Okay, so it was probably good that they kept the artillery here, because the Portuguese are still pushing. This definitely still feels like the French have the initiative. They seem to be still setting the pace on this fight. We have Ney pushing forward in the forest too. Alright, we will have to hope that the French can hold this side with their artillery placement. We have some cav going for the guns. Can they get a volley off? Oh man, this is gonna be too close. If they can point blank this cavalry, there's 2 of them. Nah, they are not going to take out this cav. Oh, what? Oh, and they form a school. Oh my god, what a clutch artillery point blank onto the Spanish. And they had a square. And now the guns are gonna run away. And oh, that is disastrous for the Spanish. What a huge loss, man. Talk about a lucky canister shot at point blank. Almost all this was canister. That is so unfortunate. However, Portugal is going to use that cav engagement to try to get up nice and close. He has some really good quality infantry here. His artillery is still going to try to even the odds here. This artillery, guys, man, oh, that's a lot of Portuguese. That is a lot. Now they are in the boggy, marshy area. Oh, okay. I thought it was sold for a second. Oh no, the general. Where'd he go? Oh no. Rip. The general whose name I was not able to pronounce. Oh, that's rough. And this guy's even looking at him like, Sir? Sir? Oh, he walked away. Come on, ruin my shot. Oh, of course I miss it. What? I guess we're gonna cover the side. I missed it totally. While other things were going on. Totally missed the initial part of this, so you're probably gonna see this added in the middle of a video right before I bounced over the side and realized that I had missed an entire section of this fight. It happened so fast. So while the other sections are all having a raging fight back and forth, we have Ney pushing ever closer to the LOC, this one-pointer held by Spain. Spain has a square because of that French cavalry hovering. Got some infantry as well in a nice line in the forest. He does have a small section of reserve. Obviously, you have more troops, rolling over to this side. actually pulling away reinforcements. He's actually pulling them, diverting them, as you can see, towards, you know, the rest of the battle here. But Ney seems to be making a big push. All of his forces pushing into the forest. He still has that Hussar unit to help back up his line. But using the forest is kind of a place to sneak a lot of troops forward without them even knowing about it. As you can see, a lot of the Spanish are facing out towards where his line was, or where his line is technically still, but the majority of the forces are not there. However, I do believe they have, yep, some grenadiers in this LOC. Not gonna make life easy. They're gonna get some nice shots off on the French as they advance. LOCs are always a very nice place to anchor your defenses on, you know? I don't know if Ney even has some good Grens. But we have, oh wow, look at this. Yep, we have a huge advance being made, guys, by the French. Running forward a lot of troops. Spain is not prepared for this. And Ney is going full attack mode. Even going around the flank, he could probably enter the LOC from the other side. Ooh, and some nice volleys off here. However, you do see the Spanish are shifting reserves, so they are getting prepared for a potential attack here. But here we go, France going for the bayonet. The 27th is going in, followed by another of the 27th. Looks like we may have some infantry going for this LOC. And France is just all in Spain's business at this moment. Nice countercharge. LOC being attacked. There's that general died. I think you'll remember that from earlier. That's what was happening. That's kind of a good mark there, actually. Because I believe that was, yeah, the general right over here. Or whatever, I don't, whatever. But yes, there we go, guys. The French are going full in. They're actually out shooting this Spanish line. And they are starting that mass rout. The triggering mass rout. And, I think this was roughly about where I switched over. So, past me will take over. So we have France going in for the house. Looks like they close in for melee. As you can see, they went in and, man, they have really hit and shocked this first initial Spanish line. And, yeah, Spain using the cavalry as best they can, but there is a tidal wave of French troops now pushing through. And Spain's got to dislocate themselves, extract themselves from the routing troops and reform their line here. But you can see we have a French mortier now pushing in on the flank. Uh-oh, Spain is in trouble. Coordinated attack between Mortier and Ney. And Ney is hot on the heels of this Spanish army. So the cavalry now is going to push out. Spain is now in a ton of trouble, guys. A ton of trouble. I'm gonna miss both sides. The artillery did break, I'm assuming. No, they just pulled back. Alright, they pulled back. That's totally acceptable. They're winning over here. They can just delay the Portuguese. They will win. And here we go. The French going in. on all fronts as Spain just can't reform in time. They just keep getting hit pretty hard. Alright, France is actually seeming to get a couple troops caught a little bit out here. You even have the guard pushing out, so the Spanish guard is here. They have cavalry on the flank, but here comes Mortier in force. The general himself, also Mortier himself, pushing up behind his lines, trying to inspire Spain to keep pushing. Man, this is a mess, guys. Spain is involved in a lot of melee. And it seems to now be expanding. Kingston on this side where some dragoons are now getting engaged here. The Portuguese trying to rush to save their ally, but at this point, I think the Spanish are in a losing fight. I mean, they're pushing back some French. I do see some encouraging results here. I mean, Ney's probably very tired. His troops are exhausted. Alright, so actually France is pulling back here. Spain is, wow, they've stabilized this flank. Well, it's beautifully done. At least it looks like they have stabilized the flank for the most part, but their center is definitely looking very weak, and you can see France is constantly setting the pressure on that side. We got some troops charging in onto the Spanish flank that was just starting to make their stand. And now that France has gone to the road, they're going to use that to start rolling up, seeing what they can do on the flank. Oh, there's cavalry in the back lines. Spain hanging on as best they can on this flank.
Building has fallen to the enemy.
I haven't really been focusing on this because the Portuguese don't seem to be really able to make a whole lot of push. Now, the Spanish are pushing quite hard here on this flank. There's still some semblance of forces here, and the French are not by any means at full strength still. They definitely have lost some forces making their attack on Spain. You can see Spain is definitely still wreaking havoc as best they can. But all things must come to an end. And I think this French flank is won. And the Spanish are, for the most part, broken. Whatever's left has formed up over here, away from actually the routing Spanish troops. Oh, a beautiful cav charge here, catching out some more French.
We have killed their general, sir. Now they must break.
You see, Portugal has now shifted over. Now, there are some forces over here. Most of us have cav and skirmishers. And that's about it. The rest of the Portuguese have shifted over. I mean, it's not technically over, guys. There is still 20 minutes remaining. We start to evaluate LOCs. There's still a 2-pointer held by the coalition. The other 2-pointer held by the French. 1 pointer held by the French, but another 1 point over here can be held by the coalition. It may come down to this LOC right here. So I guess we'll see in a second. If there is a successful counterattack by the coalition, could still change the course of this fight here. Oh, what is... No, one of the Spanish cav was going for. But I guess the next phase of this battle, now a very, very disadvantaged battle to the coalition, but they can still hold fast. They got some Portuguese troops coming. Hoping this Portuguese can help change the course of the fight here. I mean, any Spanish routing troops are far away from this fight, so it's actually going to be not too much of a concern on either side. I would stay away from fighting in any of this. Like, this is like the cloud of don't go into. The routing, flashing, blinking banners. Oh my goodness, are we gonna see Hussars just smack this column? This advancing Portuguese column? Oh, they form a, oh my gosh, that actually was disastrous of a charge. Portuguese had several squares they formed. Cavalry trying to keep the Portuguese back, at least from this French line, until they can reform here. We do have Ney, it looks like, or Mortier actually, going right into this Spanish last-ditch defense. Is this a general? Still got Solt for the most part in the center here. Nothing really happening on this portion. I mean, like I said, let's see, the Portuguese had 23,000 men, or their army was 23,000 men, or 100, sorry, not thousands, my goodness. 2,300 men, 2,300. Actually one of the largest armies. And definitely bigger than any of the Imperial armies. And if he hasn't taken a lot of losses, that's still a lot of men he can slap on the field. They just gotta hope the French are exhausted enough that they won't be able to really effectively close in for melee. It does look like Ney is going to be pushing this flank once again. Just always pushing the flank, always swinging around, not going head on with the coalition. You have the massive French routing and the massive Spanish routing. Oh man, they're going against guard. Is that really wise? Oh, here we go. Another clash here. Salt's going in. Cavalry and infantry. Things are not looking too good for this Portuguese center. Now, if they can get a general in here and inspire the troops or get some counter volleys in, they can still hold the line. But Solt is going to go in with a bit of a sledgehammer effect here. And then it looks like Ney going against this Spanish line on the flank as well.
Our men are running for.
Honestly, Portugal's doing okay at the moment. I mean, they've definitely taken some losses here, but the infantry are bogging down this dragoon unit. I mean, actually, Portugal has managed to save a large portion of their army. So for every push it seems like the French make, they definitely have some losses here. It doesn't seem to be working just... It doesn't seem to work amazingly well in their favor. I mean, they do some pretty successful attacks, but they seem to take some losses. And I think the majority of their cavalry is, for the most part, gone now, with Portugal having at least a good section of the army left. However, the walls are closing in on them. You have Ney pushing in from one side, Mortier on your flank, and then Soult. Man, some of the biggest name marshals in the Napoleonic Wars surrounding you. That's not an encouraging feeling, probably. I believe we have, yeah, a small section. I'm sorry, I haven't really been covering this side, guys. It was just some skirmishers, and it wasn't as interesting, I feel like, as the other fight was. I tried to keep things in, but those skirmishers are dead anyway. And you can see pretty soon here, Ney's going to crash in on the Portuguese rear. And he's going to go for the house as well. Oh, it's going to become chaos. Very quickly become chaos.
Our men are running for.
Imagine why they needed flags. You look at something like this and you understand. You see the flag going a certain way, yet you just follow that banner, you know? You can see there's one French unit. I mean, I guess these guys don't have their flags. And the Portuguese are giving them a real hard fight here. They're not making it super easy for them. Talk about the losses inflicted. But I believe that will be the end of the fight. A IZ victory. So they will have taken this one. I do believe they had at least one substitute, maybe two.
Break.
But well played, I will say. Other Spanish general has finally been killed. And there's one or two troops left. I think it's just a little bit of cleanup, so I made a skip to the end so we can see the results of this battle. Unless something big changes, I don't think they're going to get to LOCs in time. There's still 10 minutes to get them, plus the French have 2 1-pointers and a 2-pointer, so they will win either way. So I'll just skip to the end, guys, so we can look at the results and see, you know, the kills. All right, guys, so as you can see on the fields here, so you have Chain. I don't know which one of these players was each, but you have Chain with 1020 for the kills, Cookie with 1580, Skirm in the house with 761, and Matt Bob with 2211. On the other side, you have Lotus as one of the Spanish with 1101, Felipe as Portugal with 843, Pal with 843, and wow, they both the same amount of kills. That's funny. Then the Nate Devourer with 788. So a very good fight, guys. I really enjoyed that one. There was some good maneuvering, some good recovery from enemy maneuvering. Just really well flowing battle. Obviously, the Imperials got the upper hand and got the victory. Well, guys, that'll be it for me today. Thank you all so much for joining me. I hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you all for the support, as always. I always appreciate it. So until next time, you guys have a great rest of your day. Stay safe, and I'll catch you all in another video.